You see, Colin is here with us, along with his brother Aiden, his parents Tomiko, and Ian, of course, Marlo Thomas, St. Jude's National Outreach Director. Good morning to all of you. So great that Colin's story is just another example of the incredible work, the miracles that are performed at St. Jude.
It's not a miracle, though. It's science.
It's like an audio equivalent to mass grave.
I've been elbow deep in your family member's canoes while you have been praying. Okay.
Some birds want it.
Look at the way they fluff their feathers.
Jesus loves porn too. Excuse me. Welcome to Atheist Airwaves, your no-filter look at current news and issues facing atheists and the atheist community. I'm Jay Guerrero.
I'm Courtney Creasy.
I'm Christian Ferris.
And I'm Susan Durbin. You can find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for Atheist Airwaves. We record live every Tuesday at 7:30 Central, so if you're listening via podcast, we encourage you to join us in the Ustream chat room and participate in the show.
Our intro audio this week is American actor and National Outreach Director for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, Marlo Thomas, correcting today's show host, Natalie Morales, about what exactly goes on at the hospital her father founded. Not so much with the magic. They're all about the science there.
Which is pretty awesome that she actually jumped in there and was all like, no.
Zip it.
Yeah. What was their response to that?
They just went on.
Just went on.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's anticlimactic. It's good. I'm glad that happened.
Well, because I think they were embarrassed.
Yeah, and I think it works towards getting people out of the habit of saying things like, oh, it was a miracle, and oh, thank God, and stuff like that. It gets people out of those habits if they're just like, hey, no, you didn't say that. We're just going to move on.
Absolutely beneficial for someone to go, well, not so much. You're wrong. But...
And she did it. She was cool about it. She said her thing, and then they moved on with the rest of talking about this poor kid who was sitting next to her. Oh my God!
I wonder if that means that maybe she isn't so faithful. If she's easily dismissing that on a national television show.
I think a lot of her life has been about St. Jude's, so she wants to give credit where credit is due to the people who work there, rather than pretending that it's magic man in the sky.
That's possible, but it also just makes me wonder if she's tired of people going, oh, it's miracles, and she's less inclined to believe that.
I'm going to work every day. It's not a goddamn miracle.
I'm doing things to make this happen.
Right.
Asshole.
Does anyone know, because I didn't know until today and I had to look it up, how St. Jude's got started? Because it's a whole bunch of nonsense.
I don't.
Really? I'd like to hear that
So
story.
her father was
A
Danny.
porn star.
No. It's a good guess for this show, but not true in this case. So her father was a comedian, Danny Thomas, who was a Maronite. Has anyone ever heard of Maronites? Because that's another new one on there today.
No.
Totally. I fucking marinate my chicken all the time.
Oh my God.
Anyway,
I love it when I can make Susan go, God, that was horrible.
If you make Susan think you've told a bad joke, you've told a really bad joke.
Yeah. I'm like the meter for bad jokes. If I
should
laugh,
feel shame right now?
Yeah, you probably should.
No.
Take the wireless mic into the bathroom.
That sounds like such a great idea.
Maronites, basically, long story short, they are a subcult of Catholicism. So, anyway, he was broke.
That's all you're going to give us?
That's all I'm going to give you.
Okay.
Because the rest of it has to do with being in Lebanon and speaking a special language and the Muslims not killing them and whatever.
I do like how you acknowledged it as a subcult.
I like that as well. Anyway,
Yes.
continue with the fucking story.
Okay. So he's broke. He's young, broke, struggling to make it, and he has his first child on the way.
Turns to porn?
No. Damn, that would be a better thing.
Better story.
So he is in Detroit and he goes to church and they pass around the collection plate and he puts all of the money he has in the world in this collection plate, which is $7. He puts it in there.
He's not losing much.
Right. It's like, that's 7 days of dollar menu meals. I don't know. So he says he sat there and he prayed to St. Jude to help him find a way to support his family. And within a week, he got his first gig that paid 10 times what he had put in the plate, which, biblical nonsense. So he made a deal with St. Jude that if St. Jude made him successful, he would build a shrine to St. Jude, and that ended up being the hospital after it became wildly famous and rich.
So,
Wow.
From a shrine? From some crazy dude who threw $7 in a plate. Now we're saving all the little kids with cancer,
Yeah.
the bald kids.
I was going to say, if you're going to do some religious nonsense, that's the good one to do is, a children's hospital.
If you like kids.
Well, that's true.
You should see the dirty looks I get when people are like, would you like to donate $1 to St. Jude's?
No.
I don't like kids. And I tell them that, and they just look at me. I'm
I just
like,
want kids to die.
I'm serious. I don't fucking like them.
The lesson here, though, appears to be that just find a saint that isn't doing much and make him a deal they can't refuse.
Just ignore it.
It's going to drive me crazy, man.
I'm sorry.
You're already crazy.
All right, let's move on to some news.
So we're gonna go to
Keep it away from the wires.
Keep
That
it
seems to
the
be
butt plug.
Gotcha.
Keep it away from the butt plugs. Anyway, okay. So apparently there was a book about Scientology in Hollywood called Going Clear.
not apparently. There
Okay,
actually
okay.
was.
There
Well,
is.
I just because I haven't heard of it, we're going to say apparently.
Jay doesn't read books.
It was called Going Clear. That in and of itself is fairly uninteresting, but it could be getting a little more fun. HBO is backing a documentary based on the book. It supposedly delves into the history of the church and its founder, L. Ron Crazy Pants Hubbard. It is its ties to the Hollywood big wigs and Tom Cruise and Travolta. And anyway, it goes into all that shit. They know the risk they're taking, being that they have 160 lawyers, give or take, looking at this project.
Only a slight exaggeration.
Give or take. I mean, that's what the damn article said. It was 160.
160.
So I don't know. Anyway, it's probably a good move, being that some of these big
Well-
names have big pockets, and they probably don't want all this crazy crap coming out, in the mainstream.
The Church of Scientology is hugely litigious,
Yeah.
and they threatened. What was this? Lawrence Wright, who wrote the book. They threatened him with a lawsuit. It never materialized, which is why I think HBO got their big boy pants on and said, me and my pants and my 160 lawyers, we're doing this.
At least they're wearing pants.
Yeah, sorry about
Unlike you.
that. I promised I was going commando today. What can I say?
True.
Talk to our chat room.
I'm afraid to. Anyway, yeah, HBO's decided that they're going to take it on.
Yeah, the thing that really surprises me, I mean, Scientology is really messed up. Newsflash. But literally, Lawrence Wright's book was the best book they could expect anyone to write about their cult. He bends over backwards to try and give them the benefit of the doubt. In fact, he calls L. Ron Hubbard, he says he's not a fraud, which
Yeah.
Have you read it?
his book, no.
Oh,
No, I've read reviews of it.
okay.
I don't care enough about Scientology to even want to read it.
Yeah.
You do kind of have to have some kind of vested interest in it in order to
I've read
bother.
Scientology books. I've read Dianetics. I've read a couple of other ones that I got from a Scientology church in St. Louis.
Yeah,
But
I can remember people in my family reading Dianetics.
really,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I remember like the commercials like in the 80s. I mean, they were like mainstream, and it's like you just saw it on television. It didn't seem crazy. It's like, oh, okay, this is just like how you help yourself.
Like Amway.
Yeah, exactly.
Go.
Only not as messed up. So the New York Times criticized the book heavily for making comparisons to Mormonism, which they thought was unwarranted, as unfair to Mormons, saying, whoa, Scientology is way more crazy. What do you guys think about that? Is Scientology in a different league from cults like the Church of Latter-day Saints? Similar, different?
They're newer, so they seem more crazy just because we haven't heard about it as much, for as long.
Although, I mean, Church of Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, they're pretty new too, right? I mean, it's like latter part of the 19th century, right?
Yeah, but they're not as new. So when the newest crazy comes out, the
About
older
like 100
crazy
years.
just seems it's like iPhones.
How is Scientology like an iPhone?
Because when the iPhone 18 drops, the iPhone 17 is just old news. It's like, whatever.
So
So Mormonism is like
This
the
one has
equivalent
a
of
bigger button.
Mormonism is like the religious equivalent of an iPhone 3G.
Which iPhone are we on now?
Six.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
For me, I feel like their actual beliefs are an identical level of crazy. Like I'd put Mormonism and Scientology right next to Catholicism and transubstantiation and just say all three of you guys need some help.
Well,
They're just weird.
If you take away the indoctrination and how long it's been fed to us, you put them all side by side, and just compare them. Yeah, they're all equally batshit insane.
Yeah, just because one stuck around longer than all of the other ones doesn't mean that it has any sort of standing.
Or nutcrackers, bat fruits.
Yeah, fruit, back crackers, nuts. Thank you.
Don't correct him on his own show. What I do think might be different, though, between Scientology and Mormons is the methods they use. Because as far as I know, Mormons don't, collect personal information that they then use against you if you try and say things negatively about the church. There are, in this book, Going Clear, there are allegations of child labor, physical and mental abuse of members. And there's a local lawsuit, right? There was a guy up north just across the bay who was a former member, and they
in Portland or something.
Yeah, in Portland, and they had a team of Scientologists with cameras camped out at his house 24/7.
When was this?
Wow.
It's just the last few years.
I'd have gone to Rock Portland and fucked with them. Anyway, and there's nothing wrong with child labor. Let's just go on record.
Yes, there is.
No, there's not. As long as you're paying them.
Just pay him in Go-Gurt. Kids love Go-Gurt.
I'm okay with this payment. But, I mean, okay, methodology is different, but it's still not great. Aren't the Mormons the ones who, posthumously baptize people and shit?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still not like they're doing good stuff.
Magic underwear.
Yeah, I mean, they're crazy no matter how you cut it.
I give the Mormons permission to do whatever crazy nonsense they want to do to me when I'm dead. I don't care. Just don't send Mormons out to my house, and set up.
I've got lawn work to do. I hate that shit. Send them over.
I'm going to paint my living room for me.
The only thing that did occur to me about this, though, is that I don't think anything that I read about the Church of Scientology being allegedly involved in, I don't want to get sued, reaches quite the level of propagating an international child molestation ring. So
who did that?
The Catholic
Church.
Oh, there.
Father Happy Hands. Sorry.
Come on.
I bet you.
So I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
So
But are Mormons nearly as litigious as Scientologists?
No
I didn't think
way.
so.
no one is.
They don't have as much money either.
No.
I mean, the whole reason L. Ron Hubbard did this thing was to make money.
Yeah, supposedly it was a bar bet. It's never been
I don't know
confirmed,
about
but
that. Yeah, could be.
Judge Judy has seen fewer cases than the Church of Scientology. I'm just going to say that. That's how bad they are.
I mean, it's because they're for profit. I mean,
That's
specifically.
Allegedly, how bad they are.
and they didn't even actually achieve a status with the IRS as an official religion until the early 90s. They made this big deal about it, the war is over, all that sort of stuff, and it was
They've been denied in other countries status as a religion, which I think I think that's total bullshit. Because, are you kidding me? You're going to tell me, Mormons, they're totally a religion. This Scientology stuff, that's totally different. No, it's not.
I'm not saying
Okay,
that
I
it's
can
good
see
that
that.
any of them get exemptions or whatever, but
You can't.
it's a start.
I'm just saying that I dislike when cultists point at other cults and say, well, they're not a real cult. They're not.
Look at how crazy they are in comparison to us. They're so much crazier.
Give me another Jesus cracker. I'm going to wash this down. It's a bunch
You
of.
make some weird voices, dude.
I know.
Is that like your? Is that
I like
what?
that
I
one.
want to know what your inner dialogue sounds like. Is that guy?
Just like that. All right, let's move on. We've talked about Adam Daniels before on this show. Adam is the Satanist in Oklahoma City who was sued by the Catholic Archbishop for having communion wafers. And he gave that tough talk interview with local media. And then he walked out of that interview and folded so freaking fast that the ink on the lawsuit was still wet by the time he turned over all the crackers like a little coward. I feel so much better this week about having criticized him now that he's shown just how cowardly he is. He's the worst Satanist in the country.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
So he is also the same guy who signed the Satanic Temple's request to put up their monument at City Hall for the garage sale. And this week, he withdrew his signature because think of the kids.
This guy is such a bad Satanist. The Satanists won't take him. Dude, he was never one of us.
They were super quick to be just all like, no.
We didn't like that guy anyway.
We're super glad he's gone. I would be too. Oh my God.
God damn, it's like me.
Yeah, I'm super glad Jay's gone.
You're a really bad Satanist too?
Probably.
So Daniels went to local media and said of his decision, quote, "Why would I want to give a small child nightmares and destroy their psyche with a monster?"
Why wouldn't you want to do that?
How did I know you were going to ask that?
That is like my goal in life. Scare a child once a day.
So he also cited the Florida coloring books. What were those called, Susan? The big book of
Satanic children's activities or something to that effect.
So he said that those coloring books that they wanted to distribute in Florida, which we talked about last week, which was banned because the Florida school district said, okay, nobody's distributing nothing.
It's always the Satanists that make them say this. They must feel really bad. They must be like, man, we just hit this every single time, guys.
So Daniel says that somehow is going to harm kids, and that one of the rules in Satanism is do not harm little children.
I have a feeling he's paraphrasing, if even that.
I bet not.
Don't harm the little children. You really think
I bet that
LaVey
is.
wrote
Yeah,
that?
I do.
Don't harm the little children. I
Yes,
just
I
can't
do.
see LaVey writing like that.
I bet he did. Someone look it up. Someone in the chat room look it up. This guy is such a little douche. He obviously didn't even look at that coloring book because that coloring book was awesome. I mean, the things that it was, advocating were really, really wholesome. It was like kind of even disappointing. I was like, yes, I would give this to my child. And the only problem you could possibly have with it is if you're a Christian and you don't want your kid making pentagrams in their, connect the dots. I mean, that's it, right?
It's got a word jumble, man. How bad can it be?
Yeah, but it was, lose your virginity and
Scepter.
butt plugs.
Justice. Actually, freedom, justice, scepter.
Oh my God, think of the kids' psyches.
Oh my God, I am
Scepter?
damaging so many children.
Is that a
right
euphemism? Is that like
Yes.
cool?
No.
Damn.
This is the same guy who was on the Ramen podcast a couple of weeks ago. Did anyone listen to that?
I know. I haven't had a chance to listen to that one.
If I say yes, will you believe me?
No.
No.
It's really awesome because he quit like a little baby. He ran away from the interview because he thought
Really?
Aaron Ra was being mean to him. It's
oh
like,
my God.
Really?
yeah, because he was like saying nonsense like, "Oh, the energy of the universe," and Aaron Ra's like, "What?"
Aaron Ra's like, you're full of crap. Thank you.
So he kept challenging him, and finally he's like, "I didn't think that this was what this interview was going to be about," and he ran away like the little douche that he is. What Jay was alluding to earlier, Lucian Greaves of the actual Satanic Temple says he's super happy to get that douche the hell out of the way and finally make it clear to everyone via the media that this guy has no association with the Satanic Temple because he's a little coward douche boy.
Tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, I'm like, wow.
I really hate this guy. I really hate him. Like, I hated him. I tried to be understanding when, the Archbishop sued him and he was saying, "Oh, they have no standing and me. And then, like, the very next day, here, take it, don't sue me. And I tried to be super understanding, but this guy just whines, man. He just whines.
It seems to me like he's under duress in some of these instances.
Because he has mental problems.
Fair point.
Allegedly.
I don't know. I think he might actually just like the publicity of it. He just wants to do as much as possible in order to keep himself, get his little 15 minutes of fame, and then he's just all like, whatever. Anyway.
Alcoholico in the chat room says, I put pentagrams of ketchup in burgers when I worked at Redline Burgers.
That's awesome.
That's
And then
actually
Petey Baby
kinda
says,
funny.
"Hail Satan."
But that's the other thing, though, because there's going to be one Christian who always checks for pentagrams, and they're going to get your ass fired. You got to be careful with that stuff. So
On the
anyway,
underside of the patty. Underside.
no one ever checks the butt of the patty.
Some people do.
I just had an idea for a post show. I
What?
want to take suggestions as to what should be done with the neighbor's nativity scene. and continue.
You have a neighbor?
Couple of them.
Okay. I was just wondering
We used to record at his house. Do you not remember this?
I was asking if he was talking about his neighbors.
Oh, I do have neighbors, but no, for the purpose of the show, we're going to say I'm not talking about my neighbors.
Your alleged neighbors.
Okay. So anyway, Lucian Graves also says of the monument that he has literally dozens and dozens of people who are like dying to put their names on this thing, and they're totally not douchebags like this guy. So they're gonna Oklahoma City is either gonna have to put up the Baphomet statue, which I'm gonna go visit the second it's up. I'm going to visit it.
Where? In Oklahoma City?
So they're gonna have to put it up or get sued again.
Why are you going to go visit a monument?
Because I want a selfie right by Baphomet.
Sit in his lap.
Can you like make him give you head?
No,
It's
because
not that
he's
kind of
like
statue. He's sitting there.
That'd be pretty hard.
sitting upright.
But he does have like
What,
the
the
two
fingers?
fingers. Yeah. So you can do like.
That's all I'm saying.
You got to get somebody who's
my God.
able to climb up there really easily.
Before we move on to the next story, just to update everyone, the ACLU had sued to either get rid of the Ten Commandments or tell them you must have the garage sale and you have to have the Hindus and the Satanists and the Muslims and everyone else and their mother who wants a statue
But
there.
that kind of fizzled though, didn't it?
That got dismissed, and they say they're going to appeal, but that hasn't happened yet. So we're in this place where Oklahoma City is going to have to make a decision about the Satan statue.
Cool.
Nifty.
So moving on to Pakistan.
Let's do that.
A Pakistani anti-terrorism court in the Gilgit-Baltistan region. I
didn't
had
look
to
that one
really
up.
think. I had to really like. I practiced it earlier and everything. In the Gilgit-Baltistan region in northern Pakistan.
Not enough.
You know what? Suck it. Sentence Mir Shakil ur Rahman, who's the owner of the television network GeoTV, actress Veena Malik, her husband Asad Bashir, and TV host Shaista Wahidi, each to 26 years in prison and fines of 1.6 million rupees, which equates
It's like $5.15.
$12,800.
Oh, okay.
So it's a
Close.
lot for somebody like me.
But not for like a TV star.
Not
probably.
for Veena Malik, apparently. They were sentenced for alleged violation of Pakistan's harsh anti-blasphemy laws. Now, this comes after Malik and Bashir also offensively reenacted their wedding on a GeoTV program back in May with a song that was playing in the background that is about the marriage of one of Muhammad's daughters, which apparently was enough to offend all of their delicate sensibilities of the Pakistani courts. Wahidi, the host of the show, has fled the country.
I was going to say, that's a really interesting point. These are people who cut off people's heads and like a wedding scene, just completely.
Well, and it was for even mentioning Muhammad at all. That's what they are. Yeah. So the host of the show, Wahidi, has fled the country, and Malik and Bashir and their newborn have also fled the country after receiving death threats whenever the allegations first were leveled against them. And
Well, that's good. So they're not in custody, eh?
yeah, no, they're not in custody. They're still actually looking to actually arrest them for this. But the thing is that they were sentenced, like they were charged and sentenced in absentia. But the charges are only good in this one specific region. So they don't really have any jurisdiction to actually extradite these people for these anti-blasphemy.
So they can walk up to the border of the county and just go.
Cool.
That's awesome.
That'll go over really well. I'm sure Muslims will be totally fair and respect that boundary.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
I do want to just characterize out the quality of the people in our chat room right now and just say one of our chat room members says, "What the fuck is a Pakistan?"
to which I said, yeah, what is that basically? Is anybody going to answer me what the fuck is a Pakistan?
It's a country north of India. Muslim. It's
I'm
where
not
they
familiar
killed.
with that county.
Do you know Osama bin Laden?
Who?
Osama bin Laden. Are you aware of him? Okay, never mind. This entire story makes me want to go to Mars by myself on that Mars One thing, just so I don't have to be around people.
They're going to start setting people in 2030.
I'm going.
But you should get there early because you'll have the sex robot all to yourself.
And it's lab-grown vagina?
26 years in prison for a wedding scene on television. Don't joke about lab-grown vaginas.
That took you a second, didn't
It's
it?
not funny. I just... And the other thing that I want to say about this is, let me be clear on this. These are blasphemy laws. This is about Islam, nothing else. There is no other thing to say. You can't. This isn't cultural. Nothing. This is about Islam, and this is one of the ways that religion protects itself from criticism. Because if you allowed people to criticize the flaws in Islam, some people might think it's bullshit.
Nah.
So when Sam Harris calls Islam the motherlode of bad ideas, this is the kind of thing he's talking about. And I got to agree with him. This is some bullshit.
It really is.
26 years in jail. Like, child molesting priests get less sentences here in the United States. Are you kidding me? 26 years in jail for recreating a freaking wedding on television.
And they're like... There's a lot of sections to their criminal code of the blasphemy laws. You can't damage or defile a place of worship or a sacred object. You can't, or one section forbids outraging religious feelings.
Outraging, like as a verb?
Like, rah,
Or an adjective?
like being, I don't know.
I would just walk
It's
into that court, and the
Wikipedia.
court would be like, "Kukri, please, kukri." See,
Hey,
I remembered a
high
thing.
five. You remembered something that might save your life one day. I'm proud of you. Susan's still clueless.
Susan does not remember a thing.
It's okay.
What is this thing?
That big knife that cuts your head off?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I remember now.
You want one?
I do?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. There's another section that forbids defiling the Quran, which is the one that is usually cited. Like in the story we had a couple of weeks ago about the couple that was burning the late father's belongings, and they didn't realize that parts were
And then they
Quran.
dumped them in a vat or something like that. They burned
kiln.
them alive. A
They
kiln, that's what it
threw them
was.
in a kiln, and
Well, they hung them over a kiln. Something.
And eventually,
they burned to death.
burned them.
They fucking slow roasted them.
Yeah.
Yummy.
Hey, I'm good with that. Better if they were babies, though.
Anything else you want to say about that?
Let me just derail your entire story.
Just completely,
We're
man.
talking about cooking people.
I think that's pretty
Okay,
much
let's
gonna
move
be
on
the
to
end of that one.
Canada. Pakistan is far too depressing, but Canada is actually pretty cool.
Your mom's pretty cool.
The Canadian Broadcasting Company did an investigative consumer report on homeopaths this week that included hidden camera footage of what these purveyors of nonsense are actually telling people, and in particular parents. Some of the gems that these kooks were pushing included that measles is practically harmless to children over 1 year of age.
I believe it.
It's like candy. They like it. You know, they just like lick the bumps and it's like, measles. True story.
We're gonna have like measles salt now instead of beer
Yeah,
salt.
exactly. Oh, that'd be great. Just dress your beer in measles.
Yeah.
Oh
You guys
man.
are weird.
Can I get some
So
measles?
the other thing that they said was that sugar pills, which is basically what they're pushing, are as effective as vaccinations in preventing disease in your children.
I liked the ad for that.
Uh,
The pill.
The little pill.
That wasn't an ad.
That was part of the. That was part of the
No,
report.
excuse me, the campaign.
That was the report mocking these people.
I thought, no.
Yes. What they basically said was that if you had a homeopathic pill that was the size of the planet Earth, that the average amount of active ingredient that would be in that pill would be 1 atom. That's how worthless this crap is.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it. Nothing of any medicinal value. You could eat an Earth-sized pill and suffer no ill effects whatsoever.
Except for diabetes.
Yeah, there's that.
Well, but
I can make those jokes.
No. One of the graphics in the segment even made clear how much of an active ingredient was in those sugar pills.
Yeah,
That's what I just
we were
said.
saying it was in the segment
A segment from...
from CBC.
Oh, I thought they were using that as...
You dumbass.
I thought they were... Never mind.
Yeah, I bet. So one of the other things that these people said was that they believe we are creating a sickly generation of kids with our vaccines and our real medicines. And this is actually something that came up this past Sunday at B&J's Pizza at the Corpus Christi Atheist meetup. Some of our, totally not related to this story, we were just talking about homeopathy, and some of our older members were talking about how idiots like this have the luxury of believing their nonsense because they've never experienced an epidemic. They've never seen what it does. They've never lived during a time when people are freaked out about polio. That's just beyond their experience. And what's going to happen is we're going to have to experience these things in order for them to get back on the damn science bus.
The rate we're going, it's going to happen.
So are we advocating plague?
No.
Just me? Just me?
I'm sure
It's
Gilman in the
always
chat
just
room.
you.
You and Gilman in the chat room.
Brofist Gilman.
Yay plague. Do your yay plague thing.
Yay plague.
But seriously, it sucks that children and elderly people are going to have to die before assholes like homeopathy people and who is the anti-vax woman?
Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy. Yeah. Oh, God.
Whose son didn't even have autism.
Yeah, what's up with that?
That
But it's like
quickly-
people have to die in order for those people to stop, to pull their heads out of their asses. And
Or butt plugs or whatever.
right. I hate it.
So the doctor in this in this segment was Dr. Isaac Golden, who is like a doctor of homeopathy and a doctor of naturopathy and stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't require any med school, but each of these homeopaths that these mothers went to said, "Oh yeah, we subscribe to the Isaac Golden, school of thought with this homeopathy." And this man just, I can't even with this guy. I'm just gonna say I can't even, because he has all of these. When you go to his website, he has all of these degrees listed after his name, and he's only a doctor because he has like a PhD. Like he has no medical degree. That was the one thing I couldn't find. That was because he has a he has an MA.
He's got a PhD he's like a doctor of tinkle boxes or something.
He's a doctor like Dr. Pepper's a doctor.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, like Dr. B.
Yeah, it's
The HGB version. But
Sorry, it took me a little while to figure it out. For those of you who don't live in Texas, HEB is the local grocery store.
it's like the Walmart version. He's Dr. Rocket or whatever the fuck they call it.
Dr. Thunder.
Dr. Thunder.
That's
Yeah.
what it is. I've
That
had
just
that.
sounds dirty. And what's even better is this guy, before he went into homeopathy, he was had a career in financial accounting.
Wow.
He is a bachelor in economics.
Well qualified.
Yeah, I really, really trust this guy to be telling me how I should, vaccinate or not vaccinate or treat my non-existent children.
I just want to say briefly, I love it when I look at our chat room and I have no idea what those nuts are saying.
Yeah, I'm so confused right now.
I just love that. It's like my favorite thing. So the last thing I want to say about this story, unless anyone else has anything to add, is that really this is about critical thinking skills and gathering information, analyzing that information, and making wise decisions about reality. And meanwhile, we live in deep red Republican Texas, where the dominant Republican Party actually has baked into their party platform opposition to teaching critical thinking skills to children in this state.
That makes me feel great.
This is why we can't have nice things.
What, the sound or the...
No, because of
referring to
Republicans.
because frickin' Courtney can't turn off her cell thing. All right. So, as if homeopathy isn't nonsense enough, Brazil-based TAM Airlines this week changed one of their flight numbers from JJ3720 to the much better number, which is JJ4732, which is much safer, you guys. So, just chill out.
3720, that's the bad
Oh,
number?
dude, don't even say it, dude. It's bad luck. Don't even say it. Because a psychic told people that the JJ number don't say it. Was gonna crash. Juselino Nobrega de Luz.
Wow, you guys like 2 weeks ago, you guys were fucking Googling interviews to make sure you got names right. And now you're just like, screw it. Googleina de
Say it again.
And I thought I was bad.
Okay, Jugelina.
It looks like Juscelino Nobrega da Luz.
Hey, that was way better.
Yeah.
She's making that shit up.
No.
Okay.
She's turning brown.
So that guy is an apparently well-known Brazilian psychic. He claims to have accurately predicted the deaths of Princess Diana and a candidate for president in Brazil. He's also well known for falsely predicting that we would have a cure for AIDS by 2008, and he got the presidential elections in Brazil completely wrong. Even more strangely than all of that, though, is that his prediction was based on a dream he said he had in 2005, and he only brought it up this month because
I can't even remember anything that was happening in 2005 other than the fact that I graduated high school.
He keeps a dream diary, and he got really bored, and he was running out of material.
Oh, shit.
He's
There
like,
was this one
man,
time
there's
I had
got
this dream.
Yeah, he's going through I know there's something useful in here. Oh, there's a number. It's an airline.
But seriously, though, this was a dream in 2005 about a plane that was going to crash last week. So, I mean, he went back to his dream diary at just the right time.
No, he had a dream about it years ago.
Yep.
And it crashed last week?
No.
No.
I was going to say, okay.
In his dream, it
Yeah,
crashed
I gotcha.
on November 26th or whatever.
Did he wait until like...
Yes, until the very last second. He
Oh,
waited.
I was hoping he was going to wait until after the date.
I feel like, guys, I totally swear that I had a dream about that. That's like the worst. That's like Nostradamus. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I predicted this.
And my language is so vague and nonsensical that you can make it say anything you want to.
Exactly.
And I think that's how he got his hits, right? Like the day after he scribbled some stuff in his dream diary about, Princess Diana is going to die tomorrow. And like, oh, look, guys. Yeah, that's how that's how it worked. So basically what he said was that since TAM Airlines reacted so quickly to his dream,
She's just like shrinking into her tablet.
all right.
It's okay. It doesn't bother me. I'm not shaming you for your tablet noise.
He's going to kill me after the show.
Anyway,
So in our
after-
post show, so patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves, if you would like to see Courtney Creasy killed in our post show,
By
With
this
a
Nazi.
kukri.
nothing that quick, no. So anyway, he thanked TAM Airlines for acting so quickly. He said, quote, "I believe that God has saved lives. Thank God my dream was an instrument to avoid a calamity."
Is no one going to point out the fact that they just changed the number of a fucking plane? And the plane still didn't crash.
Same plane, same flight, same time, same route.
If it was destiny or fate or whatever, that plane still would have crashed. You're just a bad psychic. I know
Yeah.
they don't exist. Don't judge me.
They found a loophole. I mean, come on, guys.
That was the way that they were going to make it work.
Okay. We done with that?
I want to say one more thing.
No.
Is just that
No.
what distresses me more than how stupid this guy is that people take him seriously enough that the airline had to act that quickly to protect their business. The article I read about this, one of the articles, I read a few of them. Actually, I had to translate a few of them out of Portuguese or some crap.
That's dedication right there.
And I got to tell you, reading Google translated articles, not the most fun thing.
I
Just going to throw that out there. One of them mentioned that a lot of these airlines avoid the number 13 in their flight numbers, 666, 911, which is just stupid behavior. Why are we as humans? I mean, it's 2014.
And we're still superstitious like this.
Yeah. How sad is that for our species?
It's childish.
Yeah.
It's like believing that, you go into the bathroom and say Bloody Mary into the mirror 3 times and something's actually going to happen. It's along those same lines. It's just as stupid.
It's like the entire species has some sort of OCD disorder. That's like, seriously, as a species, we're the kind of people who have to turn the lights on and off 20 times before we do anything.
Oh.
We're so dumb. We're so dumb. Go ahead, Jay.
Let's just have more babies then.
Yes, more babies.
Okay. So Corpus Christi Atheist meets every Sunday at 5:30. We're going to be at Surf Club. That's downtown, Water Street, if you want to come by. Visit us at ccatheist.com for a list of our public events. And if you'd like to connect with our affiliates, visit southtexascor.com. And as always, visit patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves. And you can gain access to our post show and all sorts of other awesome stuff.
Sweet.
You have the potential for awesome stuff anyway.
Well, apparently we're getting naked in the post show. I think
And we're
really
killing people.
killing
Courtney's
Courtney,
being killed.
talking about how to do things to wooden Jesuses.
I also, for this post show, I also want to talk about what you would do if God were actually real. The God of the Bible were actually real. So I'll explain that more in the post show. And I also want to talk about what your family's reactions were to your atheism, if any. And any of you people in the chat room who want to chime in, we'll fire up the Skype line and you can call in and tell us if you have a particularly horrible experience with your family.
Cool. So, 2 weeks ago, 63-year-old Sant Rampal, a self-proclaimed God-man who was the founder of a sect that prohibits...
God-man!
God-man! He is his own superhero, only in his own eyes.
Does he wear underoos?
I didn't get that close to him. I really didn't want to know. He's the founder of a sect that prohibits temple visits, idol worship, and vulgar singing and dancing, among other things. He was detained following clashes between his supporters and police in which nearly 200 people were injured. He's wanted on charges including murder, attempted murder, conspiracy, and hoarding illegal weapons. This guy has the greatest record ever.
Right?
Real winner.
His rap sheet is epic.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to go big or go home, and this guy was like, I'm not going home.
So the authorities had wanted to speak to the guru about the death of a person during fighting between his supporters and another group in 2006 at his heavily fortified compound. Apparently, Rampal had ignored dozens of orders to
Did you say
appear
Ron
in court.
Paul?
I keep
Ron
hearing
Paul.
I keep hearing Rand Paul. No kidding.
I'm saying Rampal.
Let's just call him Rand Paul. Can we do
Rand
that?
Paul?
Yeah.
Okay.
For the remainder of the story, he's Rand Paul.
I like how we change names
I do
on
too.
people. Okay, so Rand Paul.
We're going to get sued for some shit like this one day.
Allegedly Rand Paul.
Allegedly Rand Paul. He had ignored dozens of orders to appear in court. He skipped hearings 42 times.
And I'm going to tell you,
42.
the authorities don't like it when you do that.
No, they really don't. They're just all really, dude, seriously. He just ended up taking refuge inside his compound where there were up to 15,000 of his
Sex
followers.
robots?
That's crazy. 15,000 people.
15,000 people in a super heavily fortified compound. And actually, whenever the police came to...
It was a long siege. Give him a break. Sorry.
Oh, my train of... So whenever the police
Arrived.
arrived at the compound to retrieve Rand Paul. Some of the followers inside had wheelbarrows full of rocks and I think it said water pistols full of gasoline.
So they were going to get their rocks off. And
They had Aquanet and lighters. They were for seriously, you guys.
Totally taken seriously.
wow.
So, and apparently some of these 15,000 followers weren't even there on their own.
Oh, I call bullshit on that. I'm gonna say this is after
Wait, hold on. What? What are you calling
Okay.
bullshit on?
So some of these 15,000 people said they locked the doors, they wouldn't let us out, we couldn't leave, and I'm just like,
God damn it.
For a second, I thought I was hallucinating. So, like, you totally messed me up. So they were like, they wouldn't let us leave, and it wasn't our fault. We were here against our will. And I'm like, this is after the police have secured the compound, have taken the God man into custody. Like, that's what I'm saying too. It's like, oh, dude, I had nothing to do with this. They were like holding me at gun. They were holding me at rock point, and they had these
little water
They had
pistols.
Aquanet, and I was like really afraid of the Aquanet.
I was a spider in a past life.
That's gonna be my story too. So I call bullshit on those people. They were totally there, ready to throw rocks, and then went south from there.
Yeah, the authorities came with guns and stuff. And they're like,
Arrived.
oh, rocks? Shit.
Yeah. And there was a newspaper that ended up sort of live reporting the whole thing. Like the article where they describe all of the events that were happening was seriously like scroll. And I was like, this is a lot. This is a lot of shit that happened. So it was
One of the
apparently
things
pretty crazy.
One of the things this guy liked to do, which really freaked me out, he liked bathing in milk during his meditation sessions, and then he would make drinks for his followers out of it later. Like called Cree or something.
How much later? Is this like,
Who cares?
Is this
I
like-
mean, it's like, oh, it's
gray water cottage cheese?
It's like fresh. It's like fresh Godman milk, and that's much better. I mean, once the dude's been like bathing in it for a few hours, it's gross.
Eventually, at some point,
It's
every
gross.
single molecule of that milk has touched that man's balls.
Here, have some old ball milk. It's warm.
What is it about these religious leaders that seems to make them want to humiliate their followers? I mean, that's what it seems like to me. They just make them do these mess up, like the guy who made the people eat the grass and the holy milk that came out of his penis.
And the the one that said, "Oh no, you can't wear underwear to church."
Yes, you have to.
I forgot about those.
Yeah.
That's a rule about this show now.
Wait, what?
I just thought I'd slip it in there.
Oh, no, you ain't slipping it in nowhere, buddy.
I honestly don't get it. I mean, it seems like a good way to chase off followers. Like if I was like getting involved in this cult and they said, "Oh, here's the Godman milk," and I'm like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Well, he's been bathing in this." I would be like, "I'm out."
But you're a lot more sensible than these other people.
It's holy ball milk.
Oh, now I get it. I don't know. The other part of me thinks that maybe these. I don't even know if they're thinking this clearly, but it almost feels like they're like, these people are believing all this ridiculous crap. Wonder if they do this. I wonder if they would drink my ball milk.
Let me see how far I can push it just a little further each time.
Like their inner circle, their disciples are all like, $20 says they won't do that.
What do you think they were going to get the followers to do next?
I
Like,
don't know. Like,
I don't know.
We'll talk about that in post-show.
did you see the story last week? This is in our lineup. It just reminded me of the pastor that, again in Africa, a Christian guy, all the women in his parish who were husbandless, he got them all to strip down and get on all fours at the beach, and like he was all up in their butts or whatever. Did you see
All
that?
up in there, boy.
That was just...
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, these guys do some super freaky stuff, and people are just like, oh,
This is bordering on like BDSM humiliation things. Like I could
It's not
see.
even bordering. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I mean, but it's like crossing the boundary in two. I mean,
Yeah.
Wow, there's some freaky pastors out there, cults and shit.
Freaky pastors and freaky followers, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it comes full circle.
This whole episode, though.
Anyway,
This whole episode reminds me of, it's like the Bollywood version of Waco and the Branch Davidians. Right?
I like how we just look at each other and we're just like, ball.
I wonder if he peed
Okay.
in a holy ball milk.
Oh, you know he did. You know he did. Like, if I'm the kind of asshole that's making people drink my ball milk, I'm like, I'm totally peeing in that. Our chat room is wondering if, like, he farts in it. Of course.
It's aerated and lemon flavored.
All right.
This is fucking disgusting.
Let's move back
Oh
to
my goodness.
Catholic schools.
Catholic school.
Oh my.
All right, so we've got two 11-year-olds, Quinn Maloney Tavares and Polly Hamilton.
Which is much easier to say, I want to say.
Yeah.
than a lot of the names we have.
Screw you.
Two sixth-grade students at St. George Catholic School in Ottawa. They were assigned a project to, they had to do a project about a social justice issue. So they chose...
Which, I got to say, like, that's a really great thing for...
It is.
For our school to
Except
give.
that it's Catholic school.
Right.
That's
the
a
big
problem.
problem.
So they chose to focus on gay rights. And their principal was like, nah.
Nah.
That ain't
Next.
happening. Yeah. You are high.
Well, her excuse was that, it's a fair for 4th to 6th grade. It's inappropriate. Whatever.
My daughter is in 5th grade, and there are tons of topics far more difficult than gay rights
Yeah.
that she is perfectly okay with handling.
They're old enough to ask.
No?
They're old enough to know.
I mean, I agree with you, but if you look at the state of our society, adults obviously can't handle the issue of gay rights.
But if you start introducing
I
it to
agree.
them at the younger age,
They can handle it. They can't come to reasonable conclusions does not mean they can't handle the conversation. And
people kill people over this shit.
we're not talking about like describing to children, gay sex. That's not what's going on in this
Can I
project.
talk to your kids about my ball milk?
Yes.
I'm so going to be there at the next meetup, man.
We'll record it for the show. But, if your religion makes you uncomfortable talking about the rights of other people, maybe you need to sit down and rethink your frickin' religion. That's just me.
And it sort of gets me that she's saying no, it's not appropriate, and they're turning it into, they're wanting to pretend like gay rights aren't an issue that people face every single day, but it is. Just because you don't want to accept, homosexuality and the lifestyle, whatever you want to say about it, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and doesn't mean that kids aren't going to ask those questions.
Yeah. What really, really freaked me out about this thing is the kids said, quote, a lot of people, they don't know they're being rude, but they make being gay a bad thing. They need to know that it's not a bad thing. And the Catholics basically get back to them and said, actually it is a bad thing and your project is totally gay. That was the reaction from the school.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The principal said, Principal Beauchamp. Beauchamp? I don't know.
Beauchamp.
Beauchamp?
I had a teacher named Beecham. At least that's how he
Okay,
pronounced it.
that's how we're going to say it. Beecham. Principal Beecham said that she didn't feel that gay rights was a topic that was appropriate for that group, that age group. And I'm just like, I don't get it. We're talking about civil rights. We're not talking about sex. We're not talking about fisting. We're not talking about...
Well,
Oh, but
they're
we
not.
Let's talk about fisting, you guys.
Post show.
Post show.
And vibrators. I want to talk about vibrators.
Patreon.com/vibrators. Patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves. You can hear us talk about fisting.
Is somebody writing these things down? I'm coming up with things to talk about in post show.
Did you say something?
Vibrators.
Vibrators? What about vibrators?
Vibrators and 9-year-olds.
Okay, I'm going to write it down.
What?
Vibrators and
It's a
9-year-olds.
legitimate topic I want to discuss.
Okay.
Vibrators.
Even Rep's like, fuck, not in my house, dude. You're going to get us all arrested. Okay, so are we ready to move on to the next story?
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay. There have been
It's a whole bunch. Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
There's been so many Jesus-y, football-y, schooly stories in the past forever. I don't know if we covered this one. It was one out of Piedmont City High School in Alabama. It was a month or so ago. The short version is the usual. School sanctioned prayer, football game, Freedom from Religion Foundation says, no, and the school reluctantly bows to the law. even if we did follow it, or if we did cover it, I don't know that it's necessarily a follow-up, because the city's doing something else equally as idiotic. They have chosen a theme for their annual Christmas parade, which sounds fun, yay, but it's Keep Christ in Christmas, which doesn't really fly.
Nope.
They're probably not going to get away with this completely unscathed, just mostly unscathed, because we're leading to do the whole friggin' city. But the FFRF is back on it, and they're like, no, we kind of told you guys once that that's not okay, and it's not okay now either. You can't just involve everyone and make it okay. They wrote a letter. Go ahead.
No, read Andrew Seidel's letter.
You want,
He's having a
want to?
Seidelgasm over here.
I believe that's show title.
I don't know, man. Ball milk is pretty good.
Holy ball milk.
Holy ball milk. Anyway, so one of the things that Seidel says is that the theme alienates non-Christians and others in Piedmont who do not, in fact, have a strong belief in prayers by turning them into political outsiders in their own community. That was their theme. Was the idea was to represent our strong belief in prayer. What do? You yell at him. You wait for Andrew Seidel to go bitch slap him with his giant cack.
Dun, dun, dun.
You really should have like a little piece of music. Like every time we talk about Andrew Seidel on this show,
we need something.
like porn music.
Bow wow.
Yes. little bits of porn music.
I'm gonna do that.
We'll see how it turns out there in Piedmont.
So the other really awesome thing about this is Bill Donahue of the Catholic League weighed in on this issue and praised the mayor and the town. And he wrote, "The sentiment of keeping Christ in Christmas," says the attorney for FFRF, "does not qualify as a secular celebration. But Christmas is a national holiday and therefore enjoys a secular status, even if its cultural roots are religious. Here's a reality check for FFRF. Dude, step off Andrew Seidel. He will kill you."
Allegedly.
You better step off my boo. Get all up out my Kool-Aid. I'm going to come take care of that.
Wow, okay.
That just happened.
I know, right?
I was impersonating Christians. Ghetto Christians.
I didn't know you had that in you, Jay. Okay, so he says that religion is the most defining element in any culture, and some of its traditions ineluctably become secularized over time. In this case, the refrain, "Let's keep Christ in Christmas," is simply a call to honor the meaning of the holiday. No Christ, no Christmas. That, of course, is exactly what bothers the FFRF. Jesus Christ. No. I'm not bothered by Jesus Christ in the least. Because he's not real.
He has no bearing on my life at all.
Exactly. But it's you douchebags who follow his and you don't even do it right, but you pretend to follow him. You are the people who mess it up. The national holiday of Christmas is secular, which is why you don't walk around town and you see Jesus nailed to Christmas trees or Santa Clauses. That doesn't.
Dude, how have I not done this already?
Okay, this is what you can do to your nativity scene next door.
Next door to who?
Whoever
Not
we're going
you.
to talk about in post-show. So yes, you can celebrate Christmas as a government organization, but no, you can't promote religious components of that holiday because we have a constitution. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. There is no word on whether or not they're going to change the parade on Thursday, which is the 4th. Mm-hmm. But the Chamber of Commerce website I went to today, and they no longer... Man, you guys with your sniffling.
It's cold in you.
The Chamber of Commerce website no longer says anything about keeping Christ in Christmas. It just says, event description, "It's time for the annual Piedmont Christmas Parade." So it seems like they've backed off it, or at least they're trying to pretend they did. So maybe Andrew Seidel won't notice. He sees everything. He sees what you're doing.
He's like Santa Claus. He's secular Claus.
Christian only wishes that Andrew Seidel would see him when he's sleeping.
Oh, maybe this is how he knows that he doesn't snore with a cock in his mouth.
That's pre-show, and no one knows what you're talking about. But let's talk about Epic Nanny stuff. It begins now. Epic Nanny.
So, speaking of more Jesus-y, schooly, football-y, here's another Jesus-y, schooly, football-y story. This time it's Rutgers University and the American Humanist Association, and apparently Epic Nanny. I don't know. Anyway, the Rutgers held a game where a portion of the proceeds from concessions went to the Church of God in Christ for All Saints. What a mouthful of bullshit, even for a church.
You need some marketing consultants so bad, so badly.
Church of God in Christ for All Saints. Anyway, it doesn't even make sense. The AHA, having found out about it, sent them a letter informing them of the illegality regarding the fundraiser and that litigation will follow if the practice does not cease. They cited an attendee of the game who was, quote, unable to purchase provisions for the game because they didn't want their money funding religious organizations. Now, boo-hoo, you don't know sugary drinks for you. But still, it's not, you know, I probably would have done the same thing. I wouldn't have paid them. It's not okay. You can't do that.
The government cannot promote a religion, a specific religion, or a specific church.
It's Rutgers. It's a university.
Right, it's a state university.
Right.
A state-run university. They cannot help raise money to support a frickin' church. Come on, guys. This is
not okay.
This is not like even something that you should have to think about. This is just something that
I fully expect Rutgers to back down.
I do too. Although
they have good enough lawyers to know to back down.
They have
a law school there.
You would think they should know already.
How could somebody not have said beforehand, "Hey guys, this might be a really bad idea"? How did that get past them?
That not happen? Yeah. I do. The AHA and their Epic Nanny is not messing around either. They're not like, we will pursue other avenues or we might do something. They're like, no, straight up, we're going to sue you in federal court. You are screwed if you don't do what we say. The other thing, though, is that like so many other things, I feel like this organization is just like, well, we weren't planning on doing anything else anyway. We already did it. Screw you. So I don't know. They haven't said anything about it, and I don't think they may not respond.
They may not. I mean, it's already done. If they just don't do it again, nothing's going to happen.
I do like that Epic Nanny told them that, quote, none of this is to suggest that the university should not be participating in charitable endeavors. To the contrary, the AHA strongly supports charitable giving. Such good intentions, however, can be pursued in innumerable other ways that do not involve religion. So I'm glad they actually said, we understand you were trying to do something good. You can do it without breaking the law.
Yeah.
So.
Or you can do it by breaking the law in a much better way.
But at least now they're going to have documentation that, hey, we've already warned you about this once before. We've already said once before, hey, we're going to take it further if you don't cut your shit.
Oh. What was the name of this church?
The God of Church of All Saints of Christ of something.
Church of God and All Saints, I think.
Okay, hold on. It was the Church of God in Christ for All Saints.
Oh, okay, there we go.
So this is the same church, incidentally, that was some video of theirs went viral. We didn't cover it, but I'm going to play a clip of one of their services.
You said we had audio for this.
Yeah. This is audio from one of their services, not from this town, but from another town. It's awesome.
What did you come here for? What did you come down here for? Tell me.
To get delivered more.
To get delivered. Do you believe that the Lord tonight has set you free?
Yes, sir.
Turn around and tell those people. Tell them.
I'm not gay no more.
I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women.
Shut it! My hole should be quiet.
I love that girl.
I love that you added that in.
I'm going to add it to all the things.
Right before the guy very, very adamantly repented his gayness. I was really like, man, that organ player's getting the fuck after it.
No, he's good. Wherever they found him, they need to make sure they hold on to that guy.
Anyway.
Who wants more epic nanny?
I do. I always want more epic nanny.
Okay, so the American Humanist Association's Epic Nanny filed a lawsuit against the Ocala Police Department in Florida this week.
Ocala? Is that Ogallala?
Ocala? I don't know. Who cares? Fucking Florida. I don't think we have any listeners in Florida, so you can, suck it.
You look like a big penis.
Several months ago, the police chief, Greg Graham, basically ran the white flag up the pole and posted a letter to the department's Facebook page, which was co-signed by the director of the local Young Men's Christian Association. I have no idea why that happened, but okay. The letter basically said that there was a crime spree and the only solution was fervent prayer at a community prayer vigil.
Totally makes sense.
Right. Because, when, police officers can't stop thing, prayer will do the trick.
Maybe indirectly they're hoping that if people are too busy praying, that they're gonna not be, committing crimes.
There might be something to
not
that.
a horrible theory. There's enough stupid people that pray.
Yeah.
There you go. So first of all, I just want to say that when your police chief starts talking about prayer as the only solution left to combat crime in your town, maybe you need a new police chief.
It seems like a very defeatist attitude.
Yeah. Seems like when the guy in charge is saying, well, maybe magic will work.
Alakazam!
Maybe you need a guy with better ideas. That's the first thing. So the other thing is that David Noyes, who is the AHA's epic nanny on this case, he wrote them a letter basically saying, Constitution? Maybe you've heard of it? And a local citizen also complained to the mayor about it and received this answer back, quote, there is nothing in the Constitution to prohibit us from having this vigil. Not only are we not canceling it, we are trying to promote it and have as many people as possible join us. We open every council meeting with a prayer, and we end the prayer in Jesus' name. We pray. Our city seal says God be with us, and we pray that He is with us with Him. What the fuck?
You sort of lost that. It was a surprisingly good Florida hick accent until the end.
Yeah, whatever. But that was really nice of the mayor to enumerate all of the First Amendment violations that the city is currently involved in. So that, it just makes Andrew Seidel's, it's not. Just move it away from the cable. Yeah, there you go.
At least we know it's going to be edited out. That burp right there.
I was giving him a marker.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. I have no idea what the fuck I was saying.
Andrew
Not that
Seidel.
important.
Yeah.
Makes Andrew Seidel's job
But it
easier.
makes it easier because he can, just go down the list. He doesn't have to do his own legwork. The mayor has told him all the things they're doing wrong. Thank you.
I like your letter idea, the Constitution. How about you read that shit or something?
Yeah.
Can we get just like letterhead?
A form
printed
letter?
up?
Yeah.
That that's all it says, and every single FFRF thing that goes out, we follow right behind him and send that with our letter.
American Humanist Association, Epic Nanny. Care of Andrew Seidel.
All right, we have one more epic nanny story.
One more. We're coming back home to Texas. Daniel Ross, who's a resident of Cherokee County, Texas, was curious if, since a giant life-size nativity scene is displayed in front of the county courthouse, a humanist display in celebration of Human Light, which is a secular holiday celebrated on December 23rd, would be allowed as well. So Ross fired off an email to county officials making the request for one such display. Now, imagine his surprise when he got a response from Commissioner Catherine Pinotti, who...
Is this faux surprise?
Yes.
Okay. Just wanted to make
Is
that
there
clear.
anything else from me other than faux surprise? Come on. Who she, despite using her county email address, claimed that she was not speaking as a county official. She said, quote, December 23rd is merely a date selected by your organization, which she spelled wrong, to make a political statement of your choice not to celebrate traditional Christian beliefs. perhaps you should consider choosing another time of year to demonstrate your secular support instead of attempting to infiltrate the Christmas holiday with a singular purpose to destroy and denigrate the beliefs of others.
Destroy and denigrate.
Try to live and let live.
Oh, you mother! Are you okay over here?
'Tis the season, bitches.
Oh my God! It's like live and let live. That's great. So then, why aren't you practicing that?
Pretty much.
Why don't you keep your frickin' thing in your frickin' pants?
So, of course, this prompted yet another letter this week from Epic Nanny
Dun, dun, dun.
saying that allowing the Christian nativity scene without allowing the equivalent for those of alternate faiths amounted to a constitutional violation. Of course. They said, quote, "We hereby demand that the county promptly remove it and provide us with written assurances that no similar display will be erected in the future. Our organization will pursue the matter through litigation in federal court if it does not." Which, pretty much like all of the same other Epic Nanny stories, they're totally gonna do it. But I love how they're like, we demand that the county remove it. They're not just saying, hey guys, you might want to do that. They're like, no. Fuck you, we demand this.
So like the FFRF is like, we may or may not do something to you if you don't do what we say. I mean, even like Andrew Seidel, peace be upon him, is not like a badass like this is how we are going to destroy you if you don't do what we say. The freaking Epic Nannies, those guys don't mess around.
Nope.
They are just like federal court, you, me, I'm going to destroy you. That's why I love Epic Nannies.
Can our chat room do me a favor? Can you get like a wedding invitation mock-up with Christian and Seidel for me?
Did everyone see? I think Gilman posted it to the Atheist Airwaves Facebook page. The picture of him and Andrew Seidel in his like really horrible Christmas sweater.
Yes.
It's almost that was almost blasphemy to me. Take the sweater off, bro.
You just wanted to take the sweater off.
He wants to take it off himself, I think. Okay.
Do we have any events
we
coming
don't.
up?
Let's just move on.
No, we really don't. But
We're not doing shit, guys.
patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves to hear all of our post-show material.
Yeah, patreon.com/Atheist Airwaves is what she said before I interrupted her.
Jackass.
No, right.
No, we don't. Do we have like 18 minutes left?
Yep.
We're not going to cover all these stories in 18 minutes.
I bet we can.
You think so?
Let's give it
Let's
the
pop in the room.
old college try.
Cool, let's get after it.
Go for it,
Can
Courtney.
speed through them. No, this one was an article about more pastors embracing the talk of mental illness. So the Reverend Matt Brogley, a Southern Baptist pastor in Eagle Springs, North Carolina, says that he is now the unofficial mental health counselor, not only for his church, but for Eagle Springs. Which, I have to say, this is both exciting and depressing at the same time. Because on the one hand, you've got pastors, they're embracing mental health. You can't just pray it away anymore, Medication actually works. Right. But on the other hand, you've got unqualified pastors counseling people.
Yeah. Well, even this Brogley guy, because he was talking about how that guy called him like 6 months into his term and said, I've got...
Like 3 o'clock in the morning, my wife just left me. I've got a gun to my head.
I've got a shotgun in my
Give me
mouth.
one good reason why I shouldn't pull the trigger.
And so, to his credit, he said that I was in over my head. I thought being a pastor meant giving sermons, loving my congregation, doing marriages and funerals, and some marital counseling. So that's good. So he realized that he was out of his depth. Too many priests I feel would be like, oh yeah, Exodus 23:20 or Ezekiel 23:20. Like, think about like the donkey dicks and their mule emissions. That's what you should do. At least this guy had the common sense as a new guy to say, this is not in my job description.
This is out
we'll give him that. At least.
Kind of. I want to register my disbelief and then simultaneously just take away the credit that I just gave him. Because first, priests should not be giving marital counseling because you're not qualified to do that either. And, Ezekiel 23:20, that's not going to help. Second, his response to that was to say that he was to become the unofficial mental health counselor, not just for his church, but the entire freaking town. He's like, oh, I'm up to this now. He was in over his head, but suddenly he's like, oh, I've got this.
Totes, guys. I got it.
What is that?
Mental illness.
Yes. In and of itself.
Yeah. One of the
He
big-
cray.
Yes. One of the big problems that I have with religious counseling in the first place is that Christianity is a lot of the reason why people are taught that they are unclean, that they are unworthy, that they are broken unless they have God and unless they accept Jesus in their life. And, if people hear that message over and over, then that's what they're going to believe. And that's what is going to be drilled into their heads. And that's what was drilled into my head whenever I was going to church when I was in high school and severely depressed. That's all that I heard was, oh, just pray about it and you'll be okay.
Yeah.
And
Well, you're okay.
yeah,
She's-ish.
after a lot of Abilify and Wellbutrin and a hospital stay.
Ish. You're okay-ish.
You're still here. What are you complaining about? I do feel like, just because, we've talked on this show, and we've talked to, what's his name? Daryl Ray, about what is his project's name? The secular...
Recovering from religion? Oh, secular therapist.
Secular therapist.
Yeah.
Easy for you to say.
That thing that Daryl Ray does. We're going to call it that.
So, but I think that makes sense for atheists to seek out secular therapists. That makes a lot of sense. I think it's okay in my mind that a Christian would say, I want a Christian therapist. Now, as long as this is a therapist who is also a Christian and not a Christian therapist.
Yeah.
But I think that we've talked a lot on this show about the intersection of clergy and mental health over the course of the year and a half that we've been doing this. And from talking to Candace Gorham, and she's talking about the stigma attached to needing mental health assistance, to talking about exorcists who are finally recognizing, hey, maybe we don't want to scoop up these mentally ill people into our process. So I feel like religion is on a course to do less harm than it has in the past in this area, but it also feels like they want to keep half a foot in the game, that this is something that they've been doing for thousands of years, is I'm going to, you are not mentally ill, you are possessed by a demon. They've been doing that for millennia, and I think that it's kind of hard for them to give it up and just push it over to people who are trained to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure. A study by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services shows that more people turn to the clergy when they are experiencing stress, grief, or depression than mental health professionals, which is crazy and just not smart.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's less stigma involved with going to, your religious organization than going to a mental health institution
Absolutely.
of some sort, or even just a therapist.
But the stigma is religious based in many cases. It's from the religion. Would you agree with me, Courtney? Courtney, agree with me.
Yeah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
We've talked about this before.
Okay.
That's the only reason I'm picking on you.
Okay.
So most of these priests are not trained to handle those issues. They're just going to give them biblical platitudes, which aren't going to be helpful. I'm going to screw you, Joshua.
Just gonna screw Joshua.
right.
It's on record.
Yes.
Anyway.
So another study of evangelical Christians showed that almost half of them believe that mental illness could be prayed away. This is, again, it's religion-based stigma. It's that if your faith is strong enough, half of all evangelicals think that should be enough. You're done. Good to go. If you just believe in Jesus enough, you're good. And you can file this under what is the harm. The harm is you're teaching people that Jesus will help them with things that Jesus cannot help them with. Religion is not going to help you with these kinds of issues. If you get Jesus hates amputees. If you get an arm amputated, Jesus is not going to help you. If you have mental illness, Jesus is not going to help you. Jesus will pretend to help you with things that just go away by themselves or, are curable. But things that are significant problems, Jesus is not going to freaking help you.
Yeah.
Man.
Fuck yeah.
Anything else anyone wants to talk about on that?
No, actually, just not.
Okay. So a new study by Lifeway Research finds that American Christians are a cherry pig. Hold on to something. This is going to be hard to take, but this study finds that American Christians are a cherry picking semi-religious lot of people.
No,
totally true.
That headline sounds like the entire story in and of itself.
There you go. Let's just go to post show and talk about vibrators.
Sweet.
Okay, not
So only 43% of Christians said that the Bible was more or less 100% accurate, to 46% who said, no, not so much. 43% said that sex outside of marriage was A-okay, while 90% of them were probably doing it anyway, compared to 48% that said it was sinful. Pretty much the best Christians got in this entire survey, and I got tired of reading it because they asked them a crap ton of questions. The best they do is get 60% to agree to anything in this survey.
Any one thing?
Any one thing. That is the best. And that includes things like, is Jesus God? 60%, it's less than 60%. It's like 50-something. Jesus is God. That's crazy town.
Hopefully that's, showing the degradation of the faith.
Mm-hmm. That's what's in my head, is that they're slowly letting go because it's a bunch of nonsense. So like I said, there's a ton of data in this survey. Just a few highlights. They're pretty split on whether non-Christians are going to be in heaven when they get there. 41% say, no way, non-Christians are not going to be in my heaven, to 40% who says, they are too.
I love that. I love that. On one hand, it's, you better be a Christian or you're not going to heaven. But they're going to say that, non-Christians are probably going to be there too.
If you're a good guy.
The fuck?
You look like Barney next door. He's like a Hindu. And
Barney next door.
He's pretty cool.
Barney,
a cool guy.
the purple Hindu dinosaur.
Yes, that guy. So 45% of Christians said that if you die not right with God, you are totally SOL. That's it. Game over. 30% said, you'll probably get a second chance. Gotta hook you up. Gotta be like, are you sure? Before I press the button, are you sure?
I gave you the homeboy hookup.
So, and this is really crazy. 16% of Christians think heaven isn't a real place. And 22...
Isn't that their thing?
I know, right?
Of all the things a Christian cannot believe in.
Heaven.
22% think that hell isn't a real thing.
I think that makes you not Christian.
I think it means you don't understand what the hell you're believing.
So our good friend Ken Olkevham decided he was going to weigh in on this and explain why he thinks Christians are such crappy Christians these days. And he knows
dinosaurs, like Barney the Hindu purple dinosaur.
Barney the Hindu purple dinosaur is actually the problem. He says the root of all of this evil and apostasy is evolution.
Oh, of course.
Yep.
Yep.
It's making people dumb.
That explains it.
Yeah.
He's not entirely wrong if he goes that route.
Actually, I agree with him because, exposure to these pesky facts does tend to make your stupid fucking book sound pretty dumb.
Yeah.
When we have science that explains demonstrably with evidence, and you can have slides and a really great PowerPoint.
Doesn't matter what you say as long as the awesome PowerPoint's on the board.
Totally.
Nobody's listening anyway.
So, it's hard to believe in the 7 days and whatever. It makes believing in a millennia's old.
Wait, it makes it hard to believe in 7 days?
The
7 day creation.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what? I don't think you're going to find anybody that says, no, Sunday's not real.
You would make a crappy Christian.
Think that's a good thing? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Penises.
So let's move quickly on to. We have another Israel story, which is amazing.
Let's not I really want to hit this other one.
Which one do we hit?
The McDonald's one.
Oh, really?
It's fucking amazing.
Okay, we'll end on that one.
Okay.
This one will be really quick. We broke open the Israel-Palestine seal last week, and no one said anything. So I'm emboldened to talk more.
I've actually been doing some reading on this, trying to understand. I know, right? Trying to sort of understand.
I have not been doing any reading on this.
Are we surprised?
Christian's trying not to spit beer all over the soundboard.
Thank you, Jay. So this week, basically, what happened is that I have discovered that there are some the kinds of fundamentalist Christian assholes we have in this country. They have like the identical kind of people over in Israel. So we're going to pick on Israel this week. The Israeli cabinet approved a Jewish nation state bill, which would basically say Israel was founded on Jewish principles. Does that sound familiar to fucking anyone? It would institutionalize Jewish law as an inspiration for all legislation, and could delist Arabic as its second official language to make sure that Hebrew.
That's what I would think.
Is the official language of
the one single official language.
Right. I mean, basically, these guys are teabagger assholes. Is what this is happening. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu freaking loves this. He is in love with this bill. Critics of the bill note that a full third of Israel's population are not Jewish, and that hey, maybe this is going to marginalize a large swath of our population if you do this. But of course, religious zealots don't care about that so much as they care about spreading their horse shit. I'm just really happy to know that they have assholes like this in other countries, and it's not just us in the Muslim countries, but there are other countries where they have these fundamentalist assholes who don't care about people. Talk about your McDonald's thing, Jay.
This is a good one. I think this is. I don't know why it's so far down on the list personally. Okay,
I do.
This is probably the first time I've gotten a good chuckle out of a crowdfunding campaign. Okay, so a mission group called Lux Day Designs has come up with a way to get people, namely kids, no doubt, back into the pews. They've started an Indiegogo campaign with a cute little video explaining how the high traffic and profits from McDonald's is the perfect way to help the failing attendance and thus coffers of churches. Yeah, they want to add McDonald's to fucking churches. And I don't mean churches chicken. Okay?
That's a good idea.
KFC and Pizza Hut and Long John Silver's and Taco Bell have already gotten.
Yeah, they've kind of had a little
corner.
conglomeration. So they want Mickey D's inside of churches. They want to increase traffic and the revenue. I think the sad thing is it probably work.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why they need $1 million to do it though. They're wanting $1 million
because religious people will give you cash for anything. They will give you cash for anything if you say it's Jesus.
True. I watched the video, their little Indiegogo campaign video. Yeah, I took enough time to watch a video.
I watched like 30 seconds of it. I was like,
I watched the whole
thing. I found it quite humorous. I laughed like the whole way through.
Yeah.
I'm just chuckling to myself, going, "This is bullshit." Right? It's not. I like the part where they make note of the Trappist monks that have been selling beer to fund their monastery for like centuries. That would be way more interesting and probably way more popular if you put bars in churches. I think it's a great
They already
idea.
have Alcoholics Anonymous that meets in churches most of the time anyway.
We might
so
as
it
well.
might be a bad idea.
No, you just don't have the bar open when they're there.
And I just want to take this moment to reminisce about when we were back in Corpus Christi Community Radio days and walking through the Alcoholics Anonymous meetings with our cases of beer to get to the studio.
That was good.
Oh, that's nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Half of them are going to the bar afterwards anyway.
Right.
Ask me how I know.
Jay was partying with them.
But seriously, this is a legitimate campaign to put fucking McDonald's in churches.
This is what I think, though. I think it turns out that McRibs are actually made out of Jesus. So
No, they're made out of Adam.
We should just
Excellent.
close on that. No, we can do no better than that. Shut the whole show down.
I'm so proud of myself.
Wow. Original Sin, now only $1.99.
McRib.
That's good.
McEve.
Thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves. We're sponsored by the Corpus Christi Atheists and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. If you'd like to compliment, complain, congratulate Susan on that amazing comment, God at atheistairwaves.com is where you can write. Thanks to Tombstone to Deadman for our outro music. Don't forget to visit us at patreon.com/atheistairwaves. What are we talking about in post-show? Vibrators and 9-year-olds.
The God of the Bible.
What if the God of the Bible is real?
Fisting?
Fisting and...
You said fisting.
That was yours,
I did
Jay.
not say fisting.
Yes, you
Yes,
did. I
you
wrote it
did.
down, but you told me to.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about family reactions to your atheism.
I got to come up with something about fisting. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
My tolerance for ignorance is non-existent. Why resist it? Because faith-based claims can't go the distance. You either gonna stand up for reality or surrender to the fantasy. But either way, don't care if people mad at me. My criticism's so much bigger than religion. It's about the fact that they're lacking in total skepticism. These days it kinda seems like being skeptic is a negative. So my position is the faith's a type of mental sedative. The type of things I rap about are really not cerebral. There's just an overabundance of really stupid people who get offended when I challenge all that sacred shit. Fussing, complaining, but then abstain from debating it. They want me suppressed, so they try to say that I'm obsessed. That knee-jerk reaction whenever they hear my views expressed. Some other ones that ain't blind sit on the sidelines, who scared to offend, but then defend all those dumb lies. You really think these things see you in a different light because you're the type that's passive and favorable inside their sight? You really think they think that you are not alike, and that they don't imagine you burning hot in the afterlife? To them, you're just a sacrilegious blasphemy, a tragedy, a heathen who doesn't respect his holy majesty. My contention, you're respected on condition that you never contradict them, speak against their convictions. So this is where I'm making my stand, and now regardless who don't like it or how they get mad, see why the rest of y'all capitulate and go with the plan. I'll be beating on this wall until I'm breaking my hand. So listen while I state official policy. No matter how I'm threatened with hell, that never silence me. I know that you don't see this as imperative, but I refuse to lose and let the stupid frame the narrative.
Is it like everywhere? Oh shit.
It's okay.
He knocked over beer.
Yeah, I just got a fun thing.
Motherfucker.
I turned the mics off, I think.
No, you turned them on. They were already on.
I meant I turned them off.
Yeah, like everybody is away from